Hello, welcome to the Trading Psychology Lecture, Part 1. In this lecture, I am just going to go raw, in depth. We're going to talk about what you need to know to make it as a trader. And I'm going to put it plainly. I'm going to be just transparent with everyone because I think we all have goals, right? We're going to talk about that soon, but we don't know how to get to those goals. And we constantly put ourselves in the way of reaching those goals. We do that all the time. We're humans, right? We want that goal to be accomplished now. So what do? We rush into entries, etc., etc. What's the attraction? Why do you want to learn how to trade? What's your goal, right? Is it because you want to be financially free? You want to have some form of passive income after getting some return off the stock market, futures, and then you want to invest it in assets or homes or commodities, whatever it may be? Or is it, do you want to get out of debt? Maybe you want to relieve yourself from all the debt that you've accumulated, whether it's school debt, maybe hospital bills, or do you just want to travel and feel free and not have a boss, right? Be your own boss. Think about that for a second because I think that's very important as to how it shapes us as a trader. Because if you're not in the position to be trading and using possible income to instead pay debt or bills or focus on that, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to make it out as a profitable trader because you're putting a lot of stress on your back that this trade has to work because I need to start being profitable at this point in time because I need to get out of debt, wherever it may be, right? So you have a lot of stress in your mind. Also, if you just from the get go have a good run, a good trading week, maybe a month, but you're not applying proper risk management, but you're still having a good run, right? You might feel like hot shit and then you quit your job. Don't do that. Because if you're not applying risk management, you don't have a good track record, you don't have good psychology, the next month could be worse. And it could just take all those profits from the previous month away. And then what you're left with? No job, right? So don't do that. Think rationally, think logically. Um, Trading is one of the most difficult careers you can do. Yes, it can be extremely, extremely profitable. And yes, you can have days where you just work 30 minutes to an hour. And you can call it a day. And I think that's what lures a lot of people in the beginning, right? But then eventually it just becomes a vicious cycle of, well, I need to make it work because so and so, ABC. But you need to think how you can make it work. Are you going to create rules? Are you going to study and take it seriously? Or are you just going to half ass it? Watch an occasional video here and there and not even take notes? Watch all this, all these lectures from ICT, for example, or even the ones I present about time, or even the book that was presented. If you don't take it seriously, how do you think you're going to succeed? Do you think it's just going to magically happen? You're going to have a good winning streak? But then what happens when you have a losing streak? You need to be able to manage that. No matter how far in your career you are in trading, 30, 40 years down the road, you're still going to have losses. And you need to manage that properly. So you need to figure out where your goal is, right? And you need to understand the dangers, the tuition that you pay to the market. Highly suggest if you still are not profitable, just keep practicing on paper trade accounts. There is nothing stopping you from doing that. I know you want to accomplish this goal and you want to do it now. And I know you feel a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, maybe. But if you're not showing signs that you're being profitable yet, take some of that stress off your back. Do paper trade instead. Practice with that. Hone your skill. Hone your rule set. Hone your edge in the market. Your edge is your strategy. If you're trading time and price, hone it. Make it sharp, that blade that you have. Because if you're just half-assing it, not even taking notes, not even studying, not even journaling, you're not going to make it. And that tuition is what most traders pay in the beginning. To become a doctor, a lawyer, you pay a tuition to go to school. But here, the market is your teacher. The losses are your teacher. Whenever you lose, you learn a little bit about yourself and about the market, right? And it accumulates. The amount you put in, at the end of it, once you start becoming profitable, you realize you had to pay a tuition to make this happen. It's just part of it. All right? It's just part of the whole aspect of the market. If you want to become a trader, you either pay a tuition or you play it smart in the beginning and you practice with a demo account until you become a highly skilled trader at that point. And you have to understand the dangers of gambling. All right? There's a difference between trading and gambling. Trading, you are using and thinking in probabilities, right? It's not a random outcome, the results. It's going to be consistent results because you've backed it up with strategies in your edge and proper risk management. At that point, if you do that, you can manage your expectations and actually treat it like a damn business. Otherwise, if you're just going this amount on that trade, this amount on the next trade, and maybe you lost on those two, and now you're trying to get it all back, so now you're over leveraging your ass in hopes that you can make it all back, and boom, you wreck your account. Why the fuck are you doing that? You've done it twice, you've done it 3 times. Why do you keep doing it? You know it doesn't work when you over leverage. Yeah, you keep doing it. Why? Ask yourself that. Why? And if you're tired of that happening, tell yourself, I'm ready for change. I'm ready to stick to some rules because I'm tired of this and I'm ready to be profitable. You need to eliminate the emotional risk. That emotional risk is when you over leverage and when you don't take breaks and when you don't have rules, you end up creating some hurtful feelings in your own mind and your own heart. You start thinking negatively about yourself, about your past. I'm never going to make it. I'm this and that. I'm a fucking loser. You're not. You made it this far. You're not the type of person to give up. But now you need to think a bit more clearly. That's all you need. And I'm here to tell you that. That's all you need. You need to slap yourself on the wrist and learn to walk away when the situation asks for it. And you need to learn to stick to your rules and stay disciplined. At that point, you're not going to feel much stress. I'm telling you that right now, especially with all these new funded accounts. You have the ability to acquire large capital by passing these accounts. So you don't have to put in a lot of money in yourself. And if you learn to manage risk and your psychology, you're not going to be that stressed out. I'm telling you that right now. The problem is that you want it now. You want this now. It's not going to happen now. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen all in one day. Why are you rushing the trade? Why are you trying to push that button when you know the setup's not even there? There's no point, right? So why are you doing it? You need to create rules for yourself. Unwillingness to create rules breeds emotional stress, and it breathes and causes your portfolio to either go down and retrace or just blow up. Think of it like this with rules, right? I think everyone here who's listening has a job and they want to get rid of this job and trade full time. That's great. That's an amazing goal. And I hope you all make it. But we all have a boss, right? I have to be my own boss, but in your job, you most likely have a boss that you adhere to. Or maybe you're the manager there. Maybe you have experience as a manager. Let's talk about that. But you still have rules that you must follow. Even if you are the manager of a company, you still have rules. Rules that have been set in place and guidelines that have been set in place. Correct? A school, maybe. A college. They all have rules. A gas station, Costco, if you're going in to get gas at a gas station for Costco, they tell you to go to this area, etc., etc. Every single place in the world has some form of a rule set. There's laws in America. So we follow these rules our entire lives. And we get used to them. Then what happens when you start to trade? You have no boss. What happens to most people when that happens? They start going crazy. I have no boss. I don't have anyone to listen to. Great. And then what happens? There's no rules. It's just chaos. There's no rules set to their trading. Don't let that happen to you. Create your own rules. Max 3, 5 trades a day, risking so and so amount based off the portfolio. Maybe I'm only going to trade these times of the day. Maybe I'm only going to trade these days of the week and give myself a break to study and learn more. Create some rules. Otherwise, you're not going to fucking make it. If there's no rules, you're just going to be placing trades here and there randomly without proper risk management. And you're going to be placing 20, 30 trades in a day. The fuck is that? Think about it in commissions at that point. If you're placing 20, 30 trades just to make it all back on the first trade that you lost, it's just an endless rabbit hole. Create rule sets, and trust me on this, you're going to feel a lot less stressed out. Keep those rule sets wherever you're trading, whether it's your laptop or a computer. Adhere to those rules. Because what happens if you don't have rules? Maybe some trades you'll make it and you'll get some profit. And that's what I call a random reward addiction. You didn't have much of a rule set. Maybe you didn't even have a proper risk management. You were YOLOing 15 contracts for futures maybe, or you're putting over 90% of your portfolio in options in one trade, and it worked out. You feel euphoric. You feel amazing. You feel on top of the world, and you feel like you're the best fucking trader in the world. But that's a random reward addiction. Because there was no rule set there. You didn't know what you were risking. You didn't understand what you were risking. And the next time you do it, you're going to lose everything. And what happens when you lose? Most people fail to take responsibility. They blame it on the market. They blame it on so-and-so news. They blame it on someone else. I was listening to this person, etc., etc. It's up to you to press that button, no one else. No one's holding your hand and holding your finger and pressing that button on your account. It's you who is doing that. Okay? Is that understood? So at that point, you're going to need internal control over yourself, over your emotions. You're going to need to learn how to say no. You most likely say no a lot to people. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to go here and there, right? Learn to say no to yourself. And that requires a lot of discipline. Discipline is hard to come by in this world nowadays. Great definition is doing something that you don't want to do, but you know you have to. See how that can be applied to the market. And I think you're all capable of doing that. You're all capable of being profitable traders and fulfilling your dreams. It just requires discipline and rules. Once you do those, you're good to go. Staple them on your hand, write them down on your hand, the rule sets that you're going to follow, or just paint them on your room, on your wall, wherever it may be. But read them out loud every day. I will not trade more than 4 or 5 times a day. I will not lose more than 600 a day, etc., etc. I will not trade more than 1 contract or 3 contracts on micros, whatever it may be. Create your rules, write them down, read them out loud to yourself every day. And trust me, I believe in all of you. You just need a little slap on the wrist right here and on the forehead, maybe. Because you have to take responsibility. You're the only one that is going to get yourself out of whatever hole you may be in. Whether you're in debt or you just want to get out of your job, you're the only one that's going to make that happen. Okay? And notice your reaction on a loss and on a win. Is it where on a loss you feel like it's the end of the world? Or maybe your heart starts pumping and you decide to over leverage in the next trade? Or maybe you're winning the past 3 trades and you feel euphoric and then you start over leveraging because you feel like the next trade's going to go in your favor again. Notice your reaction to those. And what do I mean by that? The reaction. If you start to break your rules, even on a winning streak, if you start to break your rules, what does that say about you as a trader? Make that in comparison to your job, okay? Do you think you're going to keep your job and you're not going to get fired if you start breaking all the rules there? Maybe you don't show up for work 1 time. Okay, maybe you got away with it. Another time. 5 more times you don't show up for work. You think you're still going to have that job? No, right? Obviously not. You're going to get fired. So why the fuck do you think trading is any different? If you're not following your rules, you think you're still going to have your portfolio? In this case, it's not a job, it's a portfolio. You think you're still going to have that? No, right? It's not any different. And I think you all have the ability to take responsibility and do it. A great, great method of adhering to your rule set and coming back the next day feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the market is by the power of association and comparison. Okay? Comparison is the first thing I'm going to talk about here. Who are you comparing yourself to? Because I'll tell you this, you should not be comparing yourself to any fucking guru on Twitter or on YouTube. Or even me. You should not be comparing yourself to me or anyone else, but your past self. Let me say that again. Do not compare yourself to anyone but your past self. If you start thinking, I need to be like this trader online that I saw, he made 10K today. You're not going to fucking make 10K on a $500 account. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to happen. So don't think like that. You're in your own race. Follow your race. Whether you're sprinting, whether you're taking a break and you're walking, or whether you have to crawl, it's your race and do it your way. And compare yourself to your past self. Who you were as a trader months ago, a year ago. Are you any different? Are you better when it comes to your technical analysis? Are you better when it comes to risk management? Maybe notice a couple of things. Maybe you passed a few funded accounts. That says a lot. Yeah, sure, you might not have gotten a payout, but you passed them. That says a lot. If you can do it once, you can do it again. And I think you're all capable of doing that. Maybe you brought an options account to extreme profitability, but then you lost your ass. If you can do it once, you can do it again. And it's through the power of association, what you think about. Because in essence, you are what you think about. If you think you are a loser, oh, I lost in the market today. Man, I'm such a horrible trader. I'm never going to make it. I'm the worst loser ever. You're going to become that loser. That's not you. Don't let that be you. If you think you're the best trader in the fucking world, nothing will stop you. Who's going to win in the end? Some guy who has a couple losses and starts beating himself up, walking down the street with his hands in his pockets, looking down at the road, saying, man, I'm the worst fucking trader ever. I lost my ass today. No. Or compared to the other guy. Yeah, I lost a couple trades today. I'll come back tomorrow. It's just another day. I'm the best fucking trader in the world. I'll make it all back and then some. With interest. Who do you think over time is going to have more profitability? The second guy, right? Who do you want to be? What kind of mindset do you want to have? I'll let that sink in. You got to normalize feeding your mind with a positive flow of thoughts and energy, okay? Just like the quote says here on this slide. You need to normalize that. You need to tell yourself constantly, it's okay. At least I'm following my rules, and that's what matters. It's okay. I didn't lose too much today. I'll come back tomorrow and I'll look for another setup. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Once you have that mindset, nothing will stop you. The only thing that can stop you is yourself. Don't let that happen. There's a level of uncertainty when it comes to the market. It's a characteristic of the market, right? You don't know if it's going to do something that you want it to do. Maybe you're looking for it to push up or down, and you don't know if it's going to happen, but you have a good bias, and there's high probability that it might happen due to some techniques you have, right? But you have to understand when it comes to the market, there's a level of uncertainty. And you, as a trader, have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with knowing of what you don't know, what's going to happen. Essentially, you're going to have to be okay with not knowing if it's going to go up or down, but having a good probability that it's going to do something and creating risk management around that. That's all it takes. No one can predict the market to the exact date or price level. Maybe a few can do it a few times, right? But no one can do it all the time. It's impossible. So why stress yourself out into thinking that you can do it? If no one else in the world can fucking do it, why do you think you should stress yourself out into thinking, I need to figure out where it's going to go 100%? No, it's never going to be 100%. I'm telling you that right now. There's a level of uncertainty, and you have to be okay with that as a trader. Once you're okay with that, there's no fucks given. You're managing your risk, you're looking at your edge, your proper setups, and you feel like you're on top of the world. And eventually, you know you're going to get this and you're going to be profitable and you're going to get large payouts. Keep imagining that mentality. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get all these payouts and my tuition's going to be paid for and then some with interest. This is part one of the psychology lecture. But let everything I talked about soak in. Everything. Creating rules, following them. Who do you want to be? The power of your thoughts and understanding uncertainty and the risks. Let all that sink in. Listen to it again and again and again and again. Because I think many of you need to. Listen to this. This is the last puzzle piece that can make or break your trading career.